I knew that this attempt was do or die. Either I would attain my dream or my dream would remain out of my reach for the rest of my life. I could not let that happen. Now, if you wish to become an IFS officer or an IAS officer or an IPS officer, my name is Harkirat Singh Randhawa, and today I would like to speak with you about my dream, which was to become an Indian Foreign Service officer, a diplomat, and serve my country. I saw this dream first at the age of 17, and in my sixth and final attempt, I finally attained this dream. And I would like to speak to you about the exam, but in particular, I would like to discuss the interview, or more accurately, the personality test, because it is not just an interview. An interview is just an interaction between individuals or a group, whereas a personality test, in this case, UPSC Personality Test, is the most important, most exciting, most interesting phase of this examination. And in this attempt, I managed to get 195 out of 275 in the personality test. My rank is very large part due to this performance. The interview is, in my mind, not just the final stage, but it is the ultimate stage, because any other part of the examination, you focus on writing or objective or subjective papers. Here is the only stage where you face the UPSC members in a room. You face them face to face, and you are before them with your personality, with your dreams, with your aspirations. It gives you an opportunity which you do not get in any of the other stages. In the first part, the second part, in the preliminary or the main examination, you have to confine yourself to what has been asked and write it down in a particular format. In the personality test, you can show who you truly are. And I believe that if you can crack this, if you can understand how the personality test is different from the rest of the stages, how it is a unique experience, then not only will you crack it, not only will you succeed in the interview, I can guarantee you it will not be a stressful experience, it will not be frightening, it will not make you anxious, it will be a happy day, it will be exciting, and you will be so happy that you could reach this stage and then you could convey who you are to UPSC. My story started in a very beautiful town in Punjab called Kapurthala. I started my primary education there. Then, between the ages of 3 and 6, I lived in Scotland with my mother while she was completing her PhD on a Commonwealth Fellowship. This period, which I spent not just in Scotland but also traveling with my mother in Europe, it greatly expanded my horizons. It showed me a world that was far bigger than the world I had seen before. It showed me how many different cultures, how many different types of people, how many different places, how much experience the world has to offer. And I do think that this experience may have planted the seeds of my dream of becoming an IFS officer, although it did take some years, I would say many years, for it to mature and become a full-on dream, an ambition which would motivate me. After I came back to India, I completed my schooling from Sanskriti School in New Delhi, and I then did my graduation in BA History Honours from St. Stephen's College. In 2012, I started my journey of UPSC, and this, my sixth and final attempt, was the one in which I could attain my goal. Since it was my final attempt, and since this was my dream, I knew that this attempt was do or die. Either I would attain my dream or my dream would remain out of my reach for the rest of my life. I could not let that happen. Now, if you wish to become an IFS officer or an IAS officer or an IPS officer or whichever is your ambition, you absolutely have to crack the UPSC personality test. It is 275 marks, and if you are able to convey who you are, convey what you want to do, why you have appeared before them, if you can do that, then I can guarantee you, you will crack it, you will get the marks necessary. And in addition to your written marks, this will take you into the final list and give you that service which you aspire to. My own interview was unique because it was my only interview. I had nothing to benchmark or measure it against. But still, I had some notion of how interviews go because I had read other toppers' interview transcripts. So I knew a little bit of what to expect. But it is always a new experience, and it should be because it is tailored to what you are, where you are from, what is in your DAF, and how you present yourself to them. Now, in my case, when I went into the interview room, the chairperson, she asked me, you have been writing this exam for these previous attempts and you have not attained success. What have you gained and what have you lost? Now, this question was how I was introduced to the board. So I knew that if I took this question in a positive direction, the rest of my interview would be positive. And if I took it in a negative direction, the rest of the interview would be negative. So I purposefully did not address part of the question, which you can also do. I did not talk about what I lost because I did not lose anything in my mind. It was my dream. I was pursuing it. It was my endeavor. There is no loss in pursuing your dream. When she asked me what I had gained, I said that I learned so much about the government of India, about the culture, about the geography, about the history of India, about the world, which I would otherwise maybe not have been so deeply interested in. I've seen how dynamic the government is, how dynamic world affairs are, and it is such a gratifying experience to come this close to joining. Now, often people say that there is at least one member in each board who will try to, I will not say fight with you or argue with you, but he will try to test how you handle some degree of disagreement or some degree of conflict, if you can say that. So this member, he asked me a question about globalization and how it was different, or was it different from a previous phenomena like conquests or colonialism. So I held that it was superficially distinct, but the foundations, the drives, the essence of these were same. Now, he disagreed with me and he said that you are wrong, you are missing the point. So I smiled back at sir and I asked him what exactly would the argument be. He said that he believed that globalization is unique, it is totally distinct from everything before it. And again, he asked me rather if I would agree with his view. And this is very, very, very important. If this does happen in your interview or any interview, please do not change your stand. If you have taken a stand, stick to it. Justify it, give reasons for it. Since you have taken a stand, there must be some reason why you have taken a stand. But if they tell you that that stand is wrong or that they do not agree with your perspective, please do not reverse yourself. This is a test of your ability to stand up for your own beliefs, your convictions. So that is an interesting anecdote. And then finally, I will say that the last member who asked me questions, he went very much in depth into international relations. He asked me about the Ukraine war, about the new era of Indian foreign policy, and how India would approach the new world order. Now, why I mention this is because these questions were within my purview, both from my optional of PSIR and my own interest in becoming an IFS officer, my own dream. And I had written this as my preference for the Indian Foreign Service. And when they asked me, I also had mentioned that this is my goal. My point to you is, in your DAF or in your application, or even when they ask you, please mention a specific service which you are aiming for. If you wish to become an Indian Police Service officer, please write that and please tell them, so that then they can ask you questions about the IPS, about how it operates. Since I wrote about the Indian Foreign Service, they went greatly in depth into foreign policy. Now, since I had prepared that, since that was my passion, I could answer the questions quite well. I had a very good discussion with the last member, and that is the final word. That is the last impression you leave. Please make sure that your last impression is your best impression. Make sure that you end on a high note, a positive, optimistic note. Even if you are describing some problems or some challenges that our country may face, please do not be pessimistic about India. You have to be an eternal optimist. You have to look forward. You have to give solutions. Anyone can point out problems. You have to be a positive thinker. You have to show them that if you are given a responsibility, a duty, that you will do your best. You will find a way to reach whatever objective is required. And if you can convince them that that is who you are, if you can show them who you are inside and bring it to the fore, you will find that cracking the interview is not just the most exciting part of UPSC. I will say it is the easiest part of UPSC because it is who you are. You don't have to prepare for this. I understand people take mock interviews, and I can understand the enormous benefit it must bring because several individuals, toppers, have spoken of this. But in my case, I did not go for a mock interview because somewhere in my mind, I felt that if I appear before a UPSC board completely fresh, unprepared, unrehearsed, then maybe I will be able to sincerely and in a fresh and unique manner convey who I am and what I wish to do. Please be yourself. Please be true to yourself. Make your dream speak for you. If you can do this, if you can crack the interview, you will reach your dream, whatever it is, whichever service it is. And I would also like to say, no matter which interview it is, no matter which endeavor you wish to pursue in your life, whatever your dream is. Like I said, if you wish to be an Indian Police Service officer or an IFS officer or IAS, that is fine. Or if you wish to be a sports person and you wish to move in that direction, please be as committed to that as to any other goal in your life. Finally, I would like to say that since it was my final attempt, since it was the only chance I would ever have gotten to fulfill my dream, I will say that the interview will always remain with me. It will be my cherished memory because I do believe that the interview and the marks I got in the interview, they pushed me over the edge. They gave me a rank, and I hope I can attain the Indian Foreign Service. If your dream, if your goal, if your passion can be conveyed to the board members, to the interview panel, you will also attain your dream. I guarantee it. I will always have best wishes and prayers for anyone else who is giving the exam or who has faced setbacks in the exam. I pray and I hope that you attain success and you attain it as fast as possible and without much struggle. It should be a labor of love. Hard work is necessary, but if it is your passion, you will find it is not as hard. It is easy. It is true and it is your dream. Please pursue it. Please move ahead. Please keep moving forward. And my best wishes will always remain with all of you. Thank you so much.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Josh Talks is now a Spotify exclusive podcast. The audio version of our talks will be available only on Spotify. If you like this video and you like to listen to more inspiring stories like this, please follow the Josh Talks podcast only on Spotify.